And welcome everybody to the Between Two Wheels podcast. This is Tyler Janke. Bariani, Land Park, coronavirus. We're going to discuss it all. This is perhaps your therapy, your Friday night therapy. We'll get it together and maybe a little, not a group hug, but some social distancing. And we're going to talk about these races. So coming up, Between Two Wheels podcast live stream coming up. All right, we're here. Who's here with me? Anybody in the chat? Mark Tucker. He says he's here. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. Maybe we'll give some people some time to join us. That song is Touch Me, I'm Sick by Mudhoney. I thought it was appropriate. It might not be the best song to have. News is out. We were going to, as of this morning, it was going to be, hey, is the race is on. Land Park was scheduled to be on. Bariani was scheduled to be on. So we are planning to have a full-on discussion about those races. Heard you loud and clear. Thank you, Mark. Chris is not. I don't know what that means. Okay, so we've got some news I was going to pull out here. A few things here. First of all, the coronavirus taking over the world, taking over your world. And they've decided with that to cancel a bunch of races. Some of the races are, we could talk about World Tour. We'll also talk about the local ones. And some of them are just being postponed because we don't know to what drastic effect this is actually happening. So we've heard Cat's Hill Crit has been postponed till September 12th. And as of such, Chris is saying it means your song isn't appropriate. Thank you, Chris. Maybe you could have given me some better song to do. You want me to go back to the original one, the one that we used to play all the time? No. So Catskill's been canceled. Santa Cruz has been now they've been postponed. And I think that's what you're going to see with a lot of these races is it's going to be postponed. So we're going to hopefully get them back on the calendar. I've seen here, and I'll read through some of the promoters, kind of some of the things they said. Chico stage race was supposed to be on, and then it was supposed to be just a road race, and then it was going to be the crit. And then they ended up putting the time trial in it, and they're going to make it a full-on omnium. I had the flyers ready to go talking about that. That's been postponed as well. I just got a message from John Simmons. It looks like that's been dumped. So we don't know exactly what the situation is, and at this point, everything is just kind of up in the air, and it's kind of getting pushed off. So what are we going to talk about today? I don't know. You're miss racing. And Land Park and Bariani, last I heard, those have now been postponed as well. So we'll go through, kind of walking through what some of these promoters are saying about it. And I'm going to read some things, put some things up on the screen as well, so we can talk about some of those ideas. So let's start with how about some of the cancellations, Vela Promo and what they have. So here we go. Vela Promo. They put up some of their cancellations. See if we could load them up. There we go. Santa Cruz Criterium has been, due to coronavirus issues and state local guidelines, the Santa Cruz Classic Criterium has been postponed, ideally till September 13. So they're putting that off as well. Mark Tucker, we'll get to that. You want an update on the bar bat? Maybe I'll go through some of those as well. Ward's Ferry, I don't think Ward's Ferry, Ward's Ferry, easy for you to say, is been canceled due to Corona, but I think it was probably 25 riders won't cover even a portion of the expenses for the race. So they're talking about that one not being able to even do it because of participation. Santa Cruz, so we talked about Santa Cruz is going to be it's got to pretty much be at the same time as Cat's Hill, which has also been canceled. So, I think one of those, it goes with the other one. You're not really going to have much of an issue if you just have one without the other. So those two go. And let's see if we get a little bit of an idea as to, in light of the progression of the COVID-19 virus strain and the rapid evolving decisions related to the virus, we are canceling Cat's Hill race for Saturday, March 21st. The CDC mitigation strategy for Santa Clara County has changed to cancel events where there are more than 250 people gathered. This includes sporting events. We hope this is temporary and plan to reschedule the race for September 12th. Everything's kind of getting moved out. Hey, so I know everyone's been, getting in shape and you're getting ready for all these races. Personally, this is maybe a good thing because we've got Cat's Hill is going to be moved out to September. Santa Cruz Classic moved out to September. Some of these other ones, I'm looking for possibly Winchester. Maybe that could get moved out to September. Maybe even Auburn. So obviously everything on the calendar, we're just going to have to. Cats is postponed to the day before Santa Cruz. Yes, that's what we were just talking about. So one thing I thought we'd take a look here, just talk about the coronavirus stuff in general. And I saw this on YouTube. It's this live map of all the different, we can go through it here, real-time coronavirus pandemic map, and see if we can mute their cue music. It's a little maybe difficult to see, but I don't even really know what the point of this is other than you can see some of these. Italy, it's still 17,000 cases for them. It says 1,400 recovered. Bunch of deaths as well going out throughout here. I don't even know what the point of all this is other than it's a pretty serious issue. So that's obviously one of the reasons why we've decided we have these races decided to kind of be put off. Let's look at some of the World Tour races as well. We've got, maybe you guys can chime into kind of Sea Otter is in October. Cats is postponed. Yeah, we've got those. Sea Otter was another one. I don't know if there's any racing. So we're going to have Land Park, Bariani, and I'll go through first of all. Let's look at some of the other postponements we have. Paris-Nice is going on right now. They've had 4 or 5 stages already. France appeared to be in pretty good shape. I put a call out to my friend who lives actually in Nice and asked him, maybe I'd get him on the line and we can do a little conversation about how things are going out there. However, he's already kind of moving back to, he lives back in Washington, D.C., so he's already kind of back there, but maybe I'll try to get him anyway because he's back and forth a little bit. His kids are trying to get back and forth. My daughter was supposed to go to Peru Tuesday, not happening. Obviously, you can imagine that's, 2 weeks down there with her mom, and it's just decided that's not going to happen. My other daughter, prom has been canceled. That was maybe more devastating than actually the trip to Peru. Also, her cheer has been canceled. Now we heard today the local public school, they've canceled everything for like 3 weeks. And then we're also looking for my other kids. They're going to be doing it online. It's a mess. And I hope you have the ability to take care of your kids at home, all your family, because it's going to be like summer to them, but yet don't go outside. Maybe summer was really hot. Jeff Scott, thanks. He says, what's up? Chris Flowers says next scheduled races are Winchester and Auburn, April 4 and 5. Yeah, so we'll see, because one of my kids' schools, they're canceled out through the 5th of April. So we'll see how, if there's any kind of daylight, we're just looking at the charts. Obviously, I'm not going to get into any of the pandemic issues and what we have there, but we'll just talk a little bit here. Bariani, first they came out in Land Park. They said a message from Sacramento Golden Wheelman regarding this weekend's races. And Greg wrote, let me we'll pull up on the web here. See if we can read along kind of what he was first. Message from Golden State Wheelman regarding this weekend's races. Times change from minute to minute. We will try to update you. And then they go through these reasons that they actually decided to have it. And I just thought I'd read some of these things. For all attendees and spectators, we like to highlight a few precautions. So these are the ideas of what Golden Wheelman were going to do for the race. Registration will be held outside and access to the Bariani barn will be limited to race organizers only. Wash stations will be provided at the Port O Potty areas. Now, personally, I was hoping that we could always have that. Hand sanitizer will be provided at registration. I would like to have that no matter what the situation is, especially at the porta potties. Registration areas and pens will be sanitized and wiped down regularly. Okay. Podium ceremonies will not be held to limit group congregation. That was also the same policy they had at Cal Aggie, but I don't think it was for the same reason. We just didn't end up having any podiums. Participants will be asked to participate social distancing, bring out the nerd in yourself. And, a lot of these guys out there, I don't think dating is much of an issue. So maybe the social distancing is something that just goes right in line with that. and people showing symptoms are asked not to attend, people with compromised immune systems. Okay. So that was the initial situation that we had, and they were going to basically still proceed with the race. And then they came out and they said, nope, it's actually been canceled. I'll get up here and read. Read Chris's comment next. Is this bike racing channel or what's up with Tyler? Personally, I invited both Curt and Chris to join in tonight. I said, hey, if you want to do this, we'll stream it in. Didn't hear anything back. So I guess it's a what's up with Tyler. And if you want to dictate things yourself, come on in. After a great deal of deliberation, the board of directors of the Sacramento Golden Wheelmen has decided to cancel the 2 races scheduled for this weekend, the Lampart Crit and the Bariani Road Race. We are making this difficult decision based on concerns about the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Public health officials are strongly recommending that unnecessary gatherings be avoided at this critical time in order to slow the up to now exponential growth of the virus. Is it exponential? It could be. If we are unable to reduce the number of cases of the disease dramatically in the coming weeks, our healthcare system will be overwhelmed. We understand this decision will be questioned in some quarters. We would have preferred the races continue. We will do everything in our power to ensure that all racers who are pre-registered will receive a credit from Bike Reg. We will explore the possibility of rescheduling these races. So they also said Lampart Crit has been running uninterrupted since 1973. We will do our best to continue that tradition, but we may not be able to get these rescheduled in 2020. All right, so let's see what else people are saying here. No more podiums out to 6th place. Yeah, yes, Chris, that's a good point. There are some people that do like the extended podiums. We've seen that. I think there was a track or running event we saw last year that was like 13. It was pretty stellar. I haven't seen that on the cycling world, but we have extended those. It was Phil Gaiman in Taiwan. I think they extended that to like 6 or 8 to get him on the podium. Chris and Curt are self-quarantining. Thanks. That's what Jason said. Let's see here. Okay. What else do we have? Well, so those races are canceled. We've also heard, like I said, Chico's canceled. What are you guys doing for group rides? So we've also heard that group rides may not be. So look, I asked this question out there. Adam Silver and Mike Egan 2020. 2020. I don't know what that means, but thanks, Curt. What are you guys doing for fitness and for group? Maybe the only thing we actually can do to worry about this contagion, Curt had told me earlier in the week, would be doing time trials. No one seems to show up very much at those. I don't think there's any kind of fear there. You're riding it by yourself as well. Maybe we do a bunch of time trials. So Jason Griffath, I wonder if the race rides will still have the same participation this weekend and beyond. Well, that's a good question. Who's going to show up at a race ride this weekend? I don't know. You going to do it? It's so what's the problem? You're outside. It's going to rain, Jason. That's what Chris says. So no. That's a good point. That was probably the reason I wasn't going to show up because I was going to look at the weather. We were going to talk about the race and the participation. I was going to break down all those, but the weather was really one that was going to have me concerned. So Jason Griffath, I heard that rain kills the virus because warm weather. Does it? Okay. We like that one. Okay. So we're going to talk about in the weather. Weather wasn't going to be good. There's a good chance that people weren't going to show up. Now, is riding outside actually a problem? So I don't think it is. It's not that you're going to be, get a contagious, get the virus just simply from riding outside. But now what about group rides? Well, keep your distance from these people. Stop patting them on the back. Don't be sharing bottles. But then if you're riding in a pack, are you coughing, sneezing, blowing your nose, breathing heavily on each other? These can be concerns. So I guess perhaps, that's one more reason why I guess we're not going through this. I was going to look here at breakdowns of the big races because we've got World Tour going on. I was just mentioning that earlier. We have Paris-Nice, and Paris-Nice has been going on, but now, France seems to be in an okay state, not as bad as obviously Italy is, China, but they're closing down all the and we'll get to the postponements here. But Paris-Nice is still going. We'll see what actually happens with that. It's been actually a pretty good race. You got Schachmann, he's in the lead today. Tish Benut took the win. It's pretty good. Higuita is kind of my guy that I've been really enjoying watching here lately. So I'd like to see if maybe we get something from him in this race because they're getting up in the mountains and actually did pretty good. I read that text, Chris. I just read that text that wasn't on the channel, but that's you deserve something for that. Well done. Belgian Waffle Ride is still on. Well, I think if it's way over 250, then everyone they're okay. No, I don't know. I don't know why some races are on, some are off. It's up to each organizer and what they want to do. And I think the real issue, I remember Jonathan Vaughters, this whole situation came up, and I think I mentioned on the last show, but he was mentioning that his real concern was what they would end up doing for hang on here. Okay. His issue was he was concerned more along the lines of what would happen to the health community if we overload it by going out there and we're doing racing and that at some point we're overloading the health community of trying to take care of those. So that's obviously the possibility we have here. Let's take a look at some of the big issues of some of the races that are being canceled. And okay, so the Giro has been postponed due to the coronavirus epidemic. Move comes after Hungary cancels Budapest Grand Partenza. So the race is going to start, I think, first few stages in Italy, and so they've decided that Hungary's like, look, we can't have this, or Hungary's saying that. But I mean, Italy is kind of inundated as themselves, so it might be a little optimistic to think that they would be able to do this, even with the Hungary, where they weren't able to do this. I mean, I don't know if Italy can even handle this as it is right now. And part of it is too, you need to have response crews being able to follow the race, medical staff, what have you around. And those people all really need to be taken care of in the hospitals and taking care of everyone else. So that's obviously the thing. Let's see what else. Curt says, Mr. Hunt said the BWR was canceled, Tyler. Okay. Paging. Yes. Thank you, Jason. If I say it out loud, then Mr. Hunt's name, then maybe I'll get banned here on YouTube. So we're probably not going to go that route. In response to the spread of the coronavirus, the Hungarian government has declared a state of emergency, as many countries are. This prohibits the organization of mass events and makes it impossible to organize international events. RCS Sport explained all parties have agreed they are determined to work together to enable the Giro to depart from Hungary at a later time. Bummer. The new date will be announced no earlier than April 3. So once again, and you've got the Olympics too wet. Official explanation. Thank you, Curt. You've got the problem is too, you've got the Olympics coming up. So if the Olympics are able to go and all these races then are kind of pushing themselves to a spot later on the calendar, it might be a little bit more difficult for, these races to get going. But, we mentioned this before, some of these Strada Bianca, Tirreno Adriatico, perhaps they can schedule themselves around the time of Lombardy. Tour de Lombardy. I don't know what it is. The race of the falling leaves or whatever they call it. So maybe they'll have to do that one. How about some other races that are canceled due to the coronavirus? We'll look up here on CyclingNews. They have a whole list of calendar of races. Paris-Nice, as we said, is underway. UAE Tour. The UAE has kind of turned around. UAE has kind of turned around their epidemic with COVID, but I don't know. We talked about this. Some of the cyclist journalists, the journalists that were over there, they said that their hotel room, when they found out there was an issue, the police actually came and put chains on the outside doors and did not let them leave. So they're a little extreme, but I mean, how much freedom do you want to give up for, curing this thing or to make it? Il Lombardia. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. So if you are a professional athlete nowadays, do you just switch to cigarettes and booze? Thanks, Jason. I don't know is that the only option is cigarettes and booze? I mean, I'm not a professional athlete and I haven't switched, although I've kind of switched. Just not to cigarettes. Okay. UAE Tour, as we know, it ended earlier. Tour to Taiwan, mountain bike races, Strada Bianca canceled, Paris-Nice, Tirreno Adriatico. All these races, USA Crits, Birmingham, what? Cape Epic, Volta All, I don't know what that is. Olympia's Tour, a bunch of these. Milan San Remo, we've heard of that one. Omloop, Volta Cycliste Catalunya, Tour de Normandy. I mean, postponed until August 22 is USA Crits Sun City. Okay, everything's canceled. Dwarf Vlarden, Giro de Sicily. So then there's some of these out in April that we're just not sure of. Basque Country, Skill de Prez, Paris-Roubaix. We don't know what's going on. Olympics 2021. Yeah, they might move that. Have they done that before? It used to be the Winter and Summer Olympics. I think were on the same calendar, and then I think I'm trying to remember if there was something that skewed that, and then they're off now. But maybe they'll shift it to 2021. Roubaix, who knows? Who knows what we'll do about that? Okay, so those are kind of some things there. Now I just thought we'd go down here and say, hey, what about major disruptions in bike racing in general? We've had several of those as it is, and over the years. And one of those, Tour de France is obviously a big race, and but they've had breaks in that before. So maybe we'll take a look at some of those breaks that they've actually had in this race. As you can imagine, it's for some of the big world wars. So if you look over on the right of this here, you can kind of see started at 1903, 1905. There's a bunch of it, and then from 15 to 20, World War I break, World War II break, and then you have another drug break where they've been wiped out from 1999 to up to 2006. Basically, Lances took out more Tour de France's than World War I and World War II. So not combined though, just that. So Lance is a virus himself, as we've come to understand. I blame Jason Graffath says, okay, let's get back to here. Chris Flower, Ronde van Vlaarderen. Yes, probably that one as well. That's Tour of Flanders. Thanks for that. Human. I don't know what that means. Curt, Chris, Jason Graffath blames the president. Biggest market drop, biggest virus ever. Are you saying that he gave the virus? That China did it? That our president did it? What's the blame? If you want to blame the government, you're not going to get a better argument. I'll go along with that. We'll blame the government for whatever you want. Let's take a look then at the Giro. How about the Giro? If they had breaks, well, just like the Tour, they also had some breaks for the two world wars. The only difference then, if you look at the Tour of Spain, they did not start till 35, so they didn't have any breaks for World War I, but they did have it for the Spanish Civil War, and then they had it for World War II. So, these things happen. But I had no big pandemics that have canceled the races. Chris Fowler, you have 2 drinks? I do have 2 drinks. I have 3, actually. I have some water, I have adult beverage, and I have coffee. It's my voice goes out, so that's what we have. Keep joining in on the coffee. And yes, have you ever had that? They put peanut butter in them now as well. It's pretty good stuff. Seriously, what's in the coffee cup? Coffee cup is, I don't know if we can actually see, there's brown mud. It's actually coffee. I drink coffee 24/7 almost, keep me fueled and ready to go. Let's look at some of the stuff from the mailbag that we had earlier. I just wanted to make a correction. This gentleman had Sven Verloot had made a comment. I had made a comment about podcasting on gin and juice. Merckx, regarding Merckx. He said, I had basically said, look, there was 286, I think, victories, professional world tour victories of Eddie Merckx. He had said there was 525, something around there. Yes, there's a discrepancy. I think I would like to always keep it on the level of just what we have. And a lot of those Merckx ones also included the track. So his comment back was, I am curious. A win is a win, in my opinion. Possibly you only want to count the races that are classified, ranked as World Tour. To compare his results with the current riders, compare his Pro Cycling Stats results, for instance, with Felice Gimondi, 81, Merckx, 296. In that area, riders participated 140 races a year. Nowadays, about 80 races. That would give Merckx 169 wins in this area, only 10 more than Peter Sagan. However, if you compare the big wins, Monuments, Grand Tours, Sagan's results would be completely overshadowed by the amount of Merck's wins. It is difficult to compare. Maybe we can ask Silicon Valley to write a decent algorithm for it. Or we can agree on saying that Merck's was the greatest of all time in the universe as we know it. I'm not going to argue that Merck's was probably, likely, most likely the best. I did read a really good book. He got popped for drugs 2 or 3 times. So, yes, in a totally different era, but there's some of these things you can't. I'm going to basically say I fully agree, but maybe we just can keep it to even 296 or whatever it was his on the pros and World Tour. We're going to give him that as well. Some other people are asking on the chat. Curt, is it snowing up there yet? Sunday, he says. So we're looking for that. What are you guys doing for making up for this? Since you don't have the ability to get out and do group rides, maybe you don't have the ability to do races. Personally, this works for me. I do a lot of solo riding. If you ever want to check out my Strava, I do a lot of 30 to 45 minutes riding solo and just go out and go super intense. Brian Prawl, Tyler just saw you where you live, and you have probably already addressed this, but are the Golden Wheelman races canceled this weekend? Yes, they are. They all races. Yes, I'll just type that in the comments. Yes, they are canceled this weekend. All the races, it appears to me, I don't see any of them. Even Chico was going to be on. It's now no longer a go. Let's go to the NCNCA calendar, actually. So we got Santa Cruz is moved, Wards Ferry, Copperopolis. We're not sure about that one. Mike's Bikes, Cats Hill Crit is moved. Land Park, obviously, Bariani is. So maybe if we go to the NCNCA page, I'll pull up the calendar, and we can kind of walk through some of that. Mark Tucker, 100 miles, 10K climbing days. That's what you're going to do. Well, congrats to you. And your kids may be home. He saw where I live. I don't know. Yeah, Brian, how do you know? How do you know where I live? Maybe we need to figure this out. Okay, so we've got on the calendar. We had Land Park. We had Bariani. Those have both been canceled, postponed. We don't know. You then have Mike's Bikes, Cats Hill, Sky Express TT. Sky Express TT. My guess is why not? You could probably do a pre-reg and then have like a will call window, and they just come up there, grab their number, and go. You could probably have someone in a hermetically sealed booth, and just you do a time trial. You're not out there with anybody, so maybe the Sky Express TTs are still going over. You want to go over to the Barbat? We'll do that in just a second. Pesquenta Hills and the Chico, and then we have Winchester and Auburn. I don't know. Did we get an official on Winchester and Auburn yet? I don't know if we have. Copperopolis, there was a flight. We don't know about those. Sea Otter's been moved. Sky Express, Criterium, we're still not sure. And then Santa Cruz Road Race, I think that's also in the Sky Express TT. There's Santa Cruz Road Race. I'm pretty sure that's collegiate. That's probably, and then the Crit the next day. We know that's been moved. And then Golden State. So Golden State, we don't know about yet. Apparently bike race is not woke right now. No, it's not, Mark. But I don't know what you mean by that. What do we need to do we're a lot of trans athletes, issues going in there. So maybe it is woke. Walk over to Barbat. That's why not canceled. Okay. Express TT is off. Okay. Sky Express TT is off. I still think I just came up with a solution for that, which was pre-reg. You could just come and get your ticket, maybe your number, have your own number, and have someone in a hermetically sealed booth, and have this start times further apart, so you don't have any chance of connecting. Are you going to contact this virus just by riding out there? Probably not. Okay, let me pull up the Barbat stuff. Which Auburn race is still on as of now? I don't think any Auburn races. I was just saying, I don't know that I've seen anything official about Winchester. I'm assuming all of these are taken. I agree. Canceled, not canceled. Okay. I don't know what that means. Stop. Curt said stop. Hey, I'm not going to stop yet. Let's take a look at the Barbat and see what we have. So in case you don't know, I don't know my way around the Barbat info quite as well, so it might take me a little bit here to find it. Series Barbat, series results. Bariani was also part of the NCNCA Women's Series, so that would have been something for them. Okay, men's bar. Elite 1-2s. Miles Hubbard, Ride Bikes Bro. They're in the lead, 82 points. Chris Reichert has taken on some Masters racing. USA had guidelines, not holding, no bike holding is recommended. Holding the bike or bike races being held. Okay. Mark Tucker wants to clarify. It's not woke to complain about bike races canceled. I've been chastised for it. Good point. I just saw a post out there. One person was lamenting how this whole coronavirus thing is a joke. There's nothing to it. Someone else comes in and comments like it's the Black Plague. I tend to think, the reality is if you're older and vulnerable, this is Chris's word, that's exactly, then it's a serious situation. It might be like the Black Plague for you, but then so might the flu, so might a banana peel if you slip and fall and break your hip. On the other end, it's not so much that you need to just not worry about it at all. We don't really know. Hey, as an example, sure, maybe this is something like the flu. You get over it and you're done. Or maybe it damages your respiratory system long-term and you don't know. So we don't know the whole ramifications. So it's, once again, it's just bike racing. Although I've no holding in TTs. Gotcha, Jason. So when he says, you know how to scroll down to 77, right? I don't know what you're talking about. About how many people? Maybe. Let's go back to the bar elites. Jeff Linder, 4th place. Chaz Turman, 77th. There's no one down there in 77th, Chris or Curt, so I can't get to your results on the P12s. Let's look at Elite 3s. Leading that is James Dadula for Penn Velo, Griffin Nemitz, Marcus Cheek, Matthew Amara, and Dante Labou, top 5. The 4s, Peter Jan Kindermans, Brian Mancini, Andre Dempsey, Will Masterman. This is just a quiz to see how well I can read these names. And Masters 35, 1, 2, 3. This is where Mark really wanted us to go. Mark Tucker, 1st place, Velo Kings Racing. He's going to hold that for a while. 1 point over data-driven athletes, very own Jeff Scott with 47 points. Pete Carolon of Olympic Club in 3rd place at 46. Sam Benedict, Team Mike's Bikes, 4th place at 35 points. So that's a solid little lead there. Josh Wood, he had responded on our Instagram. Sounded like he was disappointed with the race tomorrow. Mark Tucker, were you planning on coming up to these races? I know last year you won Bariani, and that's kind of one of the first times I had really heard about you as far as this kind of riding, and it was pretty deadly. What's this say? Mark Tucker, 8 points for Mark for Madeira stage race, not updated to reflect yet. Okay, so you got a much better lead, and honestly, Jeff had told me, I think Jeff is on this video here or watching this, but Jeff had said he wasn't going to be able to make the race this weekend, so no more lead on him. But we'll come back and try to make a strong move. The 35s, 3-4s, Ivor Griffiths, Jimmy Barboza, Eugene Chan, Ryan Odell of Sierra Nevada, and I don't know who that next guy is. We'll just keep going. It's the 4s, Masters 45. Sean Smith of R4R Make-A-Wish, Rick Lawton in 2nd place, his teammate, Jerome Nadal, Thirsty Bear, Chad Fisher, Cam Walker, Kyle Glarum. What I'm really looking for is my name, John Novikov at 16th place. He won the first race. He's a bit down on 20 points, but he's been up in doing family stuff. So we'll just we'll let him be on that. I'm probably not in here at all, so we won't worry about that. 45s. Let's go to Masters 55s. Michael Desa, Ted Turabio, 60 plus. Do we keep talking about that? Let's go back up and look at teams. So that was the best area rider. Let's look at the best overall bat. Bat scoring San Jose Bike Club, 617 points, blowing out Penn Velo Racing and Alta Velo and R4R. 269 by Penn Velo, 617 by San Jose Bike Club. That's pretty significant. Very well done. There's not 77 teams there, so I don't need to keep going down. Let's take a look because I'm a little biased where Data Driven Athlete is even at on this thing. If they are we part of this? We part of this team, this club thing? I don't know. I don't see us around here. Okay. See if we have any. Curt is in the hunt at position 77. Sorry, Curt. They don't go down past 50 on that, so I wasn't able to get your full info. Who's winning the CRR series or Wednesdays? That's what's important. Coffee Republic depends on who shows up. Sometimes when we get 15th, good spot. I didn't see who was on 15th, Chris. Coffee Republic depends on who's showing up in that race. We had Cole Davis. Cole is a weird connection, but I saw his mom at an event last week. Cole flew off to Belgium, I think, or anyway, over in Europe. They're a little concerned because they were like, oh, he may be over there for a while. Yeah, he may be over there for a while now. So we'll see how that goes for him. So look, bunch of races canceled. Let's see. There was something else we were going to look at here. Also, so we had last week we had Wednesday night group ride. There was a Tuesday one here in local area, and I think the river rides are starting up. I don't know what we're going to do as far as officially. I'm the ride leader for that, but it looks like we're going to be. There's going to be an announcement. I'm imagining we're probably going to end up canceling these rides just due to the extreme scare and people. Just the visual of that may be a little bit more. No more face touching. Your own team was in 15th. Okay, that's good to see. I'm gunning for a gift card this year, Jeff. Okay. Well, you have a chance because who is not going to be there is Isaiah. He is riding with Legion of LA. He was taking a lot of those gift cards last year, smoking us. But Jeff, you have to show up, and we have to have the ride actually going. Hang a hoop on the door, and I'll pretend it's the Kings game. Yeah, so it's weird to see. I was just talking to my neighbor, and actually the same with Curt and Chris about this, which is no sporting events. Kind of weird. It reminds me of college, hanging out with a bunch of nerds. They didn't care what the sports were going on. That's kind of what we have here. And it's there's all kinds of people. Some are happy about it. Some are not. Here's one news story that I just thought was interesting. I just looked at it. Bardet frustrated with riding on at Paris-Roubaix during coronavirus pandemic. Now, is he forced to do so? Maybe that's why he was off the front today in a break, trying to get out there and away from everybody. TJ Van Garderen, he just decided to up and leave. He said, I'm worried about this. He upped and left, and he's not actually there at the race. So Romain Bardet, he's frustrated. Let's see what he said. Nothing really makes sense anymore. The AG2R Le Mondial rider went on the attack of stage 6, mainly to escape the reality of Paris-Nice rolling on with the coronavirus pandemic continues. So I was right. He took off in the break simply to get away from that. When nothing really makes sense anymore, you might as well get caught up in the ambient madness and do the things you like to do, Bardet said after the stage to French media. I don't understand why the race went on today. We seem out of place on a bike when everyone is making efforts to stem the spread of the virus. Teams reportedly voted 11-5 to continue racing at Paris-Nice, despite the coronavirus. But Bahrain McLaren decided to head home and put the safety and health of their riders and staff first. I deplore the lack of unity in the peloton. Some are gone, others are not. Will end up being maybe 30 riders, Bardet said. What's the sense of it all, especially towards the rest of the population? We do our little in the race as if nothing is happening. It's all very strange. It is a little bit weird. And what's interesting about this is, look, there's people would like the race to go on. But you saw the finish today. There's actually decent crowds all around there, and that's one of the things I'm looking at. And then you've got these guys, and the concern for these ones should be getting back home. There's travel restrictions, all the getting stuck in places that you don't want to be. It seems like to me with the unknown, the best, we don't have this concerns here because I went to Land Park tomorrow to go to race. I'd easily be able to come home. But, these guys go to a different country. It's a little bit different. They're stuck in places. I heard an interview with Mateo Trentin. He's in Spain doing a team camp with CCC. They decided not to do Treno, which didn't have to happen. Decided not to do Paris-Nice, which is still going on. But he's going to say, he goes, it's just weird. I'm going to head home. And there's not a lot of kind of, this the problem you have with cycling in general. There's just not a lot of congruity about what they want to do. They don't really have a riders union. The riders union's kind of all disjointed, but it's varied because it's got so many different nationalities. Trenton was saying, he goes, there's so many different opinions on our team just on how to train, whether this thing is, it's a big deal in Italy. It's not a big deal elsewhere. So should I ride the Tour? He said, I can't say that. Who knows? So that's what Romain Bardet is saying there. All right. What else do we have? The Pelicans refused to take the court. Yeah, I heard that. Basketball obviously is canceled. I doubt race rides will be canceled. Hard to cancel informal rides. That's what Chris Flower says. Good point, except for I just signed a liability form, a waiver for the Folsom Bike one. So it feels, no, it shouldn't be it should be informal. So we'll see how that goes. Later, guys, pizza and beer are calling. See you, Jeff. TJ needs an excuse to quit. That's what Jason says. I agree. I didn't even know someone said, hey, we're canceling this race. And I'm like, I didn't even know you were in it. All right. Well, I think that's all we've got coming along. Hey, Jason, how is your recovery? I hope everyone's doing fine. Mark, good luck on your trip back from Vegas. I appreciate everybody joining in tonight. We'll try to do this again because I don't know what else we have going on. And if we don't have anything else going on, maybe we just talk it out. So if we're going to talk it out, we might as well, do it in a fun way. Thanks everybody for joining in Between Two Wheels podcast, Between Two Wheels show, live stream. Good luck out there racing. Good luck out there riding. Stay safe. Wipe your hands. Drink your Corona beer. Until next time, see you at the bike races.